live.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. So today we're talking about the client journey, specifically why clients ghost you and they don't show up to their appointments. And I think a lot of people are dealing with that. And a lot of people deal with that. So they put these 53-page application to become a client of yours on the front of their website, which is just pushing people away. So we're going to talk about a couple different things today. More specifically, though, is going to be why clients actually do ghost you. And I think people forget or even take into consideration the anxiety a person might have from switching hairstylists. Like, are they going to mess my hair up? Like, so much goes in their head. Like, for every single past experience they had with a bad haircut, a bad color, plays in their mind, and they have all this anxiety. They might even be in the parking lot of your salon and still pull away. How do we stop that from happening? Communication. You have to be dialed in. Like, when someone books an appointment, you need to reach out to that person, especially a new client. If for any reason that person is just kind of shopping around, they may have a few different appointments for their hair. And whoever makes them feel the most comfortable wins that client. When you first, before you started doing hair, I want you to go back to the years before you started doing hair. And I want you to think about what it felt like to walk into a salon with a bunch of strangers that you didn't know who anyone was. And you might suffer from social anxiety, you might not. But for a lot of people, when they first walk in, it's like, are they going to judge me? Are they going to know what I want? How do I ask for this picture? Is what I want actually stupid? Or all these different conversations happen in their head. And you want to make sure that you get in front of them. And I think people take it personally when someone else ghosts them in the salon. And it might just honestly have to do with that person and a bad experience they had. So the best thing you could do is make sure that you have some touch points before the person comes to your salon. Your welcome email when they book an appointment, talking about the brand journey. There's a couple of things I teach in the academy when it specifically comes to how do you speak to that person before the appointment, like from a coffee order to other things you want to talk about. In fact, today we're actually speaking about that in the Level Up Academy. So if you guys are watching this live, jump over after this call or this live, because we're going to be going in depth on your client journey and sales.
Yo, Nick, real quick, why should everybody listen to you? Who the fuck are you?
I am Nick Marabella. I own and operate multiple salons. I've been doing this since 1997, and I learned a thing or two about how to build a clientele, because myself, behind the chair, built from $0 to $30,000 a month in just over a year. So having clients come back is really important. Making an amazing customer experience, a client journey, is even more important, because if a client sees you on Instagram and they don't come back, you wasted that money and the effort you put into advertising and marketing. So the worst part is somebody saw your ad and they clicked on the link and they filled out the 52-page application on your website, which is probably frustrating and annoying. Then they book the appointment and then they put in a fake credit card that you can't charge, and then they ghost you. So no one wins. They don't get the amazing hair. They don't feel amazing. You lose that time block in your schedule, and everyone's frustrated. So trust marketing is probably the most important aspect here. If you're marketing your salon in a way and your services in a way that build trust, and you have a community and you speak to your clients and you message people back and you're always commenting back, they're probably going to feel like they want to get a chance to know you. They're probably going to not want to ghost you. But like I said before, you have to reach out to that person, not some generic auto text or auto responder. For the first person, when they book an appointment, make a genuine attempt to reach out to them with a personalized text or even a phone call. And I know no one wants to talk on the phone anymore, but you can shoot them a text first, big. Hey, Jen, just wanted to reach out. It's Nick. I know you have an appointment on Wednesday. 2 questions for you. A, how do you take your coffee? And B, on your inspo picture, I want to ask you a few questions specifically about that you uploaded on my site. You got a minute at some point today? That's it. If not, no worries. Come a few minutes before your schedule, or come a few minutes before your appointment, and we can talk about it then. So what I don't understand with a lot of hairstylists is all the friction they put between them and a client making an appointment. It's not going to help that person in their transcendence to become a lifetime client. What you really want to focus on is creating raving fans, and you want to make sure that you're really dialed in on your experience. And if you do that, clients won't ghost you. The other aspect of ghosting is they come in one time and you never see them again. Like you thought you nailed it. Like it was the best haircut you ever did in your life. And for whatever reason, they don't come back. They don't come back. They don't ever tell anyone how amazing you are. They don't they don't become your client. And you probably sit and think like, what did I do wrong? Sometimes you did nothing wrong. Sometimes your haircut was amazing. Your personality might be a problem. So you have to learn how to be a chameleon, and you really have to learn emotional intelligence. And so your EQ is what they call it in the biz, your emotional intelligence, I think far exceeds your skill set, or it should exceed your skill set. You need to be so in tune with that client, how they're feeling, the body language, just the voice inflection when they're asking you a question or you ask them a question and they give you an answer. Because you have to truly be in tune with that person so you could find out if they really do love that haircut or not. It might be your best haircut. Like for me, I had a client, she came in and she had a death in the family. Sad to say, it was a child of hers. And it's the most brutal thing a parent can ever go through. So she went through a couple months of not doing her hair, doing it herself at home, trying to cover her grays. And when she came in, she had like roots like this. She was orange, she was like reddish, she was brown, she was blonde. It was crazy. Did a quick consultation, thought we had everything figured out. And it was like highlights, lowlights, color in between the foils to get her root color, her grays covered. And then this part of the head, we had to use a cooler tone. This part was a warmer tone to balance out the blonde. When I was all done, I thought it came out phenomenal. Everyone in the salon loved it, except for her. I was blown away that she didn't like it. Like I still have it on Instagram. Like if you scroll back a couple years, I thought it was one of the best blondes I ever did. It was so different from how she walked in though. And she may have gotten used to how brassy her hair was, that this was a shock. And it probably was a shock to her. I fixed it. Like it was cool already. So we had to warm it up a little bit. And at the end of the day, she wound up loving her hair, but she only came back one other time. And that was it. She came back for me to fix her hair. I think maybe one more time. We had to tweak it. She did send her daughter in, but they didn't become a lifetime client. Typically, they always become lifetime clients. At least for me, I've always done people over and over again. And I think what happened was I got cocky because I was doing my consultation with my two assistants watching me. And I don't think I was showing off or anything, but I thought I nailed it. Like I didn't take into consideration her past, what was going on, what she really truly wanted with her hair. Because the picture she was showing me wasn't really probably what she wanted. It was a point in her life that maybe her son was alive, that's how her hair looked. And so for her, it would bring her back to that era again and that time of her life. So a lot goes into what you do behind the chair, and a lot goes into the conversations you have with your clients. So sometimes they might be showing you a picture, and that picture represents a time in their life when their hair looked that way, that they felt that they want to go back to. When in reality, once you give them that look, it may not be exactly the hairstyle they want. And so emotional intelligence, I think, far exceeds your service skill. Obviously, you need to be good at what you do, but when you are having your consultations, when you're taking your client through a journey, you have to really dial that in and discover what it is that they want. That's huge. So when it comes to ghosting you, if I just actually called her the next day just to talk and maybe ask a couple questions and how we can make it better, how we can make our experience better, apologize for not nailing it the first time, even though I thought I nailed it, even though I think it looked amazing, she probably will still be a client of the salon today. So I just want to make that clear. Like you should be reaching out to the person before and reaching out to the person after. One of the things I speak about in my content, it's called the 7-star review. A lot of people leave you a 5-star review on your booking software that doesn't really go anywhere. No one really sees it, but it gives you an opportunity to see how that service was. And you should follow up with the person. Hey, Barbara, thank you so much for the 5-star review. Can I ask you a question? How do we get 7 stars? How do I make this a 7-star experience? And then that's when you hear the in-depth little minor things that seem like really nitpicky that she didn't want to say anything about because it didn't really mean the difference between her not coming back and coming back. But for that one client that does ghost you, she comes in one time and never comes back again. Those little details, that's what's going to make every client want to return and become a lifelong client. So it would be, hey, Nick, I went to the bathroom and you never have toilet paper. Like, it's always not on the roll. I got to go under a sink. Sometimes they have it, sometimes you don't. Then I got to ask the assistant to go get it for me. It's frustrating. Those little things you should know about in your salon. And that little thing, because that client comes to your salon, she knows everybody, she feels comfortable. But the one who has her first time or her first visit in the salon, she's not going to ask anybody. She may be embarrassed. So it's important that you create some kind of a system so that doesn't happen ever again. Because that's a difference between somebody saying, hey, I'm not going to come to the salon again, and be like, wow, they're really fucking awesome here. Like, there's 50 rolls of toilet paper in there. That's just one particular example. There's probably millions of them. One example could be someone might be allergic to dairy. So do you have almond milk? Do you have coconut milk? Do you have other creamer substitutes for people that they could choose from? If you have coffee, it's an amenity, and you don't have something for somebody who's allergic to something, maybe you don't have decaf. Maybe they love coffee, but they can't have caffeine. So think about every touch point you have in your salon, and who is that touch point for? Are you creating an experience for something that you would like? Or are you creating an experience so that every client would like it? And I think as owners, you create this flow for the salon, this client journey for how you want the client journey to be, not specifically your clients. And if you create things with your clients in mind, knowing that your taste may not be their taste, I think you're going to have a lot bigger of a repeat business. And then the last part of this would be having them pre-book their appointment when they leave. Obviously, that goes without being said, but there's a lot of things when it comes to rebooking that I feel are missed opportunities. And it's a conversation that should happen several times throughout their visit. When they first sit in the chair, how often do you get your hair colored? That's part one. You want to know, like, what's the cadence they like to go on? Is it every 4 weeks, every 3 weeks? And this is mostly for new clients, by the way, guys. And I don't like having grays. I come generally every 4 weeks to touch up my roots. Cool. Now you know that. As you talk to her about her hair, and then the next thing is going to be when you're talking about life and her hair and all this other stuff. Do you have any events coming up? That's number two. So she has a wedding coming up in 3 weeks or 4 weeks or maybe 5 weeks. Maybe she says she likes to go every 6 weeks with her hair, but that wedding is coming up in 5 weeks. You got to bookmark that in your brain. So now you're doing her hair, you're blowing her out, you're walking her up to the front of the counter. Hey, Barbara, you have that wedding in 5 weeks, right? I know you don't like your roots showing. I actually am going to be here on that Wednesday. And so I know that wedding's that Saturday. If you want, let's get you locked in for that Wednesday so your hair's fresh for the wedding. Does 2 o'clock work for you? You remember that she likes to come every 6 weeks for her hair, but you also remember that she has a wedding coming up, so you get her in a week early. You pre-book the appointment so she's not stressed out trying to squeeze in her color sometime before that, and she rebooked the appointment, and you got a client for that day. So you want to make sure you're maximizing every part of that conversation so you can use it to your advantage later on in the appointment. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is a quick little live for today talking about client journey. I wanted to drop you a little nuggets on, things that you could do to help the experience, to help you from getting ghosted, because I think we take it personal, but I think people are just searching Instagram for that stylist, especially if you're really good on Instagram. Don't forget, if you have a big following, by the way, and you are like a celebrity stylist or like an influencer in the hair industry, people might be like scared to come to you. They might be overwhelmed. And so you reaching out to them kind of just calms their nerves a little bit. So make sure you guys actually implement that into your strategy. And James, I'm going to go for a minute or two with Q&A. So if there are any questions, guys, please feel free to drop them in the comments. James will read them off to me.
Yeah, we got Edgardo Escribano in Facebook. We take client feedback very seriously, of course. We try to do our best to address all of them, but how do you recommend we handle the feedback or criticism that just seems way over the top or truly inaccurate?
Yeah, Eduardo, honestly, I give people the business back. This is a great part about showcasing your personality using Yelp or Google or one of the review platforms. If somebody's being irrational or just ridiculous, I believe in being professional. I also believe the client's not always right. I think you should use that platform to tell your side of the story. So this way, anyone reading it would read, they like to read your rebuttal too. And I've done that plenty of times. But like, Jen, thank you so much for the 1-star review. I really appreciate it. Even though you came a half hour late, we still accommodated you. And then your credit card declined. And like, if she was really rude, I'll be really rude back. I'll be honest with you. And I don't believe in, being petty for no reason, but I do believe I have to come to the defense of my clients, or sorry, of my stylist. And if she bashes one of my stylists, I will make sure I write a review to the point where she wants to delete hers, so mine goes away too. That's just me. You guys can handle your business the way you want. But I believe in telling the true story about what really happened and then letting the public figure out who's right and who's wrong.
One Dominican salon. If a client didn't show up, should I call her to see if she forgot the appointment or should I not?
Now, remember what I said in the beginning of the live. Call her the day before. Hey, so-and-so, I know you have an appointment tomorrow or appointment on Wednesday. Just checking in. How do you take your coffee? How do you do X, Y, and Z? Like, ask them a question that pertains to their service. I'm sorry, that doesn't pertain to their service, but just pertains to them personally. That's going to be crucial for you.
West XX Westwood. Nick, is there a book you recommend on emotional intelligence?
Wow. You know what? I don't think that I have any books on emotional intelligence. I just have a really high EQ, which is emotional intelligence.
And The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck is a pretty good book.
Let me think about that, and I'm going to drop it in the in my stories for you. I'm trying to think emotional intelligence. It's a feeling. I think anything from like Louise Hay from like Hay House. I also think when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Who's that author, James? Of that quote. Type that in. He's just Wayne Dyer. Anything from Wayne Dyer could help you. So Wayne Dyer's he's got a lot of amazing books out there. But emotional intelligence is just being really in tune with the person's energy. So if you really want to amplify your emotional intelligence, go do an ayahuasca journey. That'll really kick things up a notch for you. At least it did for me. All right, James, last question.
Well, Barb Mills says she's very thankful she followed your page.
Oh, thanks, Barb.
Styled by, I am a booth renter and feel like I lose way more people than the salon owners do. Is that normal?
No, if you're a booth renter, you should not be losing any clients. Guys, I'm going to say this real quick. So if your retention rate isn't high, there's two reasons why. Your services aren't great and your personality is not great. Those are only two reasons. You either have maybe an attitude because you think you're too good at doing hair, or you're not really good at hair and your attitude and your personality is not good enough to keep them. That's it. Two reasons. You're either really likable and you're really good at hair and you'll keep all your clients. You're either not likable, but you're good at hair, so you'll keep some of your clients. You're either really good at hair, you're not likable. So it's one of those two things. You have to make sure you have a great personality. How to win friends and influence people. There's a lot of books on personality that you could learn. The Like Switch, written by an FBI negotiator or interrogator. There's a ton of books out there that could teach you how to read people better. But then on the other side of that is your skill set. You have to be good at coloring hair. If you're not, then build that skill set up. In the meantime, while you're building those skills, become the most likable person in the world, and then wow them with the experience, and you won't lose any clientele.
Main therapy. Nick, what do you say when they hit you with, let me check my schedule and get back to you?
No problem. You can always move it later. I just want to lock that in before you lose the appointment because it's so hard to get into my appointment book. I honestly, they'd never really say it to me. And plus, I'm like, all right, check it. No problem. Like if you say that to me, but cool. All right, check it. No problem. I'm in a rush. They have their phone on them. Or then after that, I'll be like, hey, let's lock it in, or I'm going to put you down for 2:00. If you have to move it, just call us. It won't be a problem to move it at all. Because they're going to have to call to make the appointment. So they'll just call to move it. That way it's in there. That's what I like to do. So the whole, let me check my schedule thing. They just don't feel like they want to get the hell out of the salon. Guys, for those of you hairstylists that take forever on people's hair, and you think that you're doing that for them because you want to sell a higher ticket service and really give them an experience, guess what? After 5 hours, they want to get the hell out of the salon. So speed things up a little bit for them. And then when they're checking out, they weren't there for 5 or 6 hours. They were there for like 2 hours, and they have no problem going through their phone to look at their schedule. In their mind now, they have to take a look at when they could block off half a day for you to do foils on them. it's annoying. Speed up. No one wants to sit in a chair for 6 hours. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you are part of the Level Up Academy, we're going to be talking about this subject specifically in depth today. So this is going to be force number 3, client journey and sales. So make sure you hop over to the community and you can jump on for that live. Ladies and gentlemen who are watching on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, thank you so much for giving me a few minutes of your time today. The podcast will be posted later on today. You can head to nickmarabella.com and listen to the podcast. And if you're listening right now and you're stayed to the end of this video or this audio, thank you so much. It really means a lot to me that you guys take the time out of your day to listen to the advice I give. Hopefully it does help, and it means the world to me. If you guys want more help growing your salon, do me a favor, reach out to me on Instagram at Nick Marabella, or just head to apply.nickmarabella.com and you can learn more about how I can help. So everyone have a great day. See you all tomorrow.